Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of September 29, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifah Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue defensive actions across multiple operational sectors, employing combined arms tactics and long-range strikes. Ukrainian formations sustained significant personnel and material losses, with Russian units reporting incremental territorial gains, improved tactical positions, and the neutralization of key infrastructure and support nodes.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, let's start with the broad picture. How would you summarize the progress of the special military operation as of September 29th?
Today's operational landscape reflects a steady pattern of multi-axis pressure, combined with deep strike attrition of Ukrainian logistics. The Russian armed forces continue to apply synchronized ground maneuver, artillery, and air defense in a way that depletes Ukrainian combat power across the board. The most significant feature is the combination of territorial gains, such as the liberation of Chandrigolevo, with the systemic destruction of Ukrainian artillery, electronic warfare nodes, and ammunition depots. This dual effect both denies Ukraine the ability to maneuver effectively and erodes its capacity for counteroffensive action.
Let's drill down into the north, Sumy and Kharkiv. What happened there?
The North Group engaged 3 mechanized brigades and 2 assault regiments near Kropotshchina, Andriivka, and Alexiivka, while also striking Volchansk and Varvarovka. These actions resulted in the loss of over 170 Ukrainian personnel and a mix of armored and support vehicles. What is notable here is the choice of battle space. These are border-adjacent settlements, and constant pressure here compels Ukraine to commit forces to defend its northern flank, forces it cannot use to reinforce heavier fighting further south. Strategically, this diverts manpower and creates operational overstretch.
Moving west, you mentioned the liberation of Chandrigolevo. Why is that significant?
Chandrigolevo sits in the Donetsk People's Republic, and its capture by the West Group is tactically important. Beyond the symbolism of liberating territory, it provides a staging ground for further exploitation against Ukrainian mechanized brigades. Losses inflicted included 3 tanks, multiple artillery pieces, and key electronic warfare systems. This signals a degradation of Ukraine's ability to conduct counter-battery fire and disrupt Russian command channels. When you strip away electronic warfare, you give your own forces greater freedom of action and diminish the adversary's situational awareness. It is a quiet but powerful enabler of follow-on advances.
In the south, around Severodonetsk and Konstantinovka, what was achieved?
The South Group improved its frontline posture in several contested areas, with Ukraine losing close to 300 personnel, multiple IFVs, and 9 depots. The heavy emphasis on depot destruction is critical. Each depot represents not just stored ammunition, but an entire logistical lifeline. By striking them in series, the Russians aren't merely winning firefights, they are gradually collapsing Ukraine's ability to sustain a fight at all.
The Center Group reported the heaviest Ukrainian losses, over 500 in a single day. What explains this scale?
The Central Front, particularly Dmitrov, Krasnoarmysk, and Rubizn, is a focal axis for Ukraine. The Russians executed a coordinated assault against mechanized, airborne assault, and National Guard brigades. This combined arms engagement overwhelmed Ukrainian defenses and yielded over 500 casualties, along with tanks and artillery. The doctrinal point here is massing firepower at decisive points. By concentrating both ground forces and fires on a narrower sector, the AFRF achieved local superiority and forced a Ukrainian collapse. Such moments often foreshadow deeper penetrations if sustained.
And what about Zaporizhzhia and the east? Was progress made?
Yes, the East Group continued to push deeper into Ukrainian defenses around Orly, Privolia, and Huliapol. Nearly 300 personnel were lost here, and while the material losses were modest, the psychological and defensive strain on Ukraine is real. Zaporizhzhia remains one of Kyiv's critical defensive lines. Russian advances here, even incremental, erode the defense in-depth Ukraine has spent months building. The campaign is less about sudden breakthroughs and more about grinding down the defensive latticework piece by piece.
Finally, the Dnipro front in Kherson. How does this sector fit into the wider picture?
The Dnipro group struck at Tyahinka, Sadov, and Vasil, inflicting losses on a mechanized and coastal defense brigade. Though Ukrainian personnel losses were lighter, around 70, the destruction of artillery and electronic warfare systems matters greatly. Control along the Dnipro corridor secures the riverine flank and suppresses Ukraine's ability to harass Russian positions with indirect fire. It is also a shield for rear areas supporting operations further north.
Beyond the ground sectors, there were also reports of strikes on infrastructure and air defense intercepts. Can you elaborate?
Yes. Russian missile and UAV strikes hit 149 targets, including an aviation repair facility and sites housing foreign mercenaries. This not only denies Ukraine critical sustainment but also sends a message about the reach of Russian fires. On the defensive side, air defenses intercepted HIMARS rockets, Neptune missiles, and 147 UAVs, a remarkable feat that underscores Russia's layered air defense network.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today's operations highlight Russia's methodical attrition strategy, secure limited but tactically important settlements, destroy Ukraine's logistical backbone, and sap its ability to mass reserves. The liberation of Shendragalovo and heavy losses in the central front point toward preparation for larger envelopment maneuvers in Donetsk. Strategically, the erosion of Ukrainian artillery and EW capability signals a shift in balance. Russia is not only denying Ukraine offensive capacity but is shaping the battlefield for decisive future exploitation. Ukraine's manpower losses, approaching 1,600 in a single day, illustrate the cost of maintaining exposed defensive positions under relentless pressure. If this operational tempo continues, Ukraine faces a dual crisis of attrition and positional disadvantage, setting conditions for broader territorial consolidation by Russian forces.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.